Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Channing Curtis.
Glad to have you here with us. I'm Tim Pham. Well, it is Thursday, and the weather is kind of changing a little bit because it was bright and sunny the last couple of days, but it wasn't going to last forever. And hey, a little rain isn't bad either. Let's head on over to meteorologist Thomas Patrick. Hey there, Thomas. Just how much rain are we talking about on this Thursday?
Yeah, well, this is actually the wettest day out of the next few because we are expecting quite a bit of rainfall leading into Mother's Day. As for exactly how much, probably about a half an inch, maybe 3/4 of an inch of rain just today for some areas. So it is going to be a soaker, and the rain has once again begun to fall in the Spokane area. Also getting that observation out by the airport, also reporting some rain. So if you see our reporters with their hoods up, they're just protecting themselves from a little bit of that light rain that is starting to come down, but starting to get a bit more widespread. And we will notice that throughout the course of the morning. So there's just this band of rainfall. So some areas getting rain, some areas not at the moment, but this will become widespread later on this morning, certainly by the afternoon hours. The big positive out of this morning is that it's actually quite warm for morning hour standards. 54 in Spokane, 51 between Deer Park and Coeur d'Alene, up to 56 in Pullman and Moscow on the Palouse this morning. So that's great, but these temperatures really aren't going to warm up at all for today. Notice how the line is very steady. It's just like 55, 54 degrees for the next several hours here, as we will be basically seeing rain all day long. This is the wettest day of the forecast. We'll show you how many more still have at least scattered shower chances. Your forecast is in just a few minutes.
Spokane city leaders are frustrated with the recent string of drive-by shootings, and now some are calling for new policing strategies. KREM 2's Nicole Hernandez live in downtown Spokane right now to break down some of the new data we received from Spokane police. Good morning, Nicole. What is this data showing?
Good morning, Tim. So as of right now, we know that we've seen 8 more shootings from January through April of this year compared to those same months last year. Now city leaders are asking for people to see more Spokane police officers in the neighborhoods where these shootings are happening. So the 6 shootings that we saw happen in this past week all happened in the same area. They happened in Michael Cathcart's, a city council member there, his district. He says he's frustrated with the violence. Cathcart posted this on Facebook. He says the city needs new policing strategies, resource officers in schools, a better court system for repeat offenders, and more officers out on the street.
We've got a lot of community members who will tell you that from their perception and perspective, they don't often see officers in their neighborhoods. They don't have a sense of safety in their neighborhoods.
So here's a breakdown of how many shootings we've had this year so far compared to the same few months last year. These numbers do not include the 6 most recent shootings we just had. From January to April this year, we've had 53 shootings. In that same time frame last year, we had 45. So 8 more shootings in the same amount of time from last year to this year. Digging deeper into those numbers, 26 of the 53 shootings this year were drive-by shootings. That's more than twice as many as last year. Councilmember Cathcart, of course, like we mentioned earlier, posted that on Facebook asking for some new solutions to this violence that they're seeing. He said the hope is that these new solutions are implemented in Hilliard first. In Spokane, Nicole Hernandez, KREM 2 News.
City Council member Jonathan Bingle filed an ethics complaint against the Continuum of Care Board Chair, Ben Stuckert. He's alleging that Stuckert violated ethics through improper actions in the shelter process. Stuckert is a project manager for Jules Helping Hands, which is one of the groups that submitted a proposal to be the provider for a new homeless shelter. The complaint says Stuckert participated in a board meeting to recommend a new homeless shelter. Although he recused himself from the vote, his participation in the discussions, quote, violated the COC's conflict of interest policy.
After a thorough review, and I believe very strongly that they'll find that he was in violation of his code of ethics, then that the city would get to see that the taxpayers almost had some money very badly spent.
Nobody knew the fine details. The 30 different people in the meeting didn't have any concerns with my actions at all during the process. So I just find it political grandstanding at this point.
The city says Stuckert has a well-documented history of ethics trouble and past allegations of conflict of interest. In 2021, the Washington State Auditor reported Stuckert may have violated conflict of interest when he allegedly helped obtain a city contract for Jules Helping Hands. In this latest case, Stuckert reiterates that he recused himself from voting and maintains he did nothing wrong.
The Spokane Lands Committee is discussing a proposal to name the playground at A.M. Cannon Hill Park after a Spokane girl who was murdered in 1959. It's a case that Spokane police just recently solved with the help of DNA evidence. So 9-year-old Candy Rogers went missing in 1959 while selling campfire mints in West Central. It took searchers 2 weeks to find her body. Candy's cousin, Joanne Poss, wrote a letter to the Spokane Park director saying Candy's childhood home was near the playground at Cannon Hill Park. The family wants to remember Candy in a way that can bring happiness and light to others so that she's not forgotten.
We don't know what Candy would have become. She could have been a school teacher like her mom. She could have been a entrepreneur like her father. She could have married and had children, and her children could be playing at that park. She could still be living in that neighborhood where her mom and her grandparents lived. We will never know that, but what a great honor to her.
The official name of the playground would be the Candy Rogers Memorial Playground. The committee is expected to vote on the naming in the coming months. Today, Idaho Governor Brad Little will be in Coeur d'Alene to talk about his leading Idaho plan. He will host a press conference to discuss investments into Lake Coeur d'Alene as well as water quality. The governor signed the $252 million Leading Idaho infrastructure bill in March. That bill gives local government funds to repair roads, bridges, and launch other projects throughout the state.
It's time now for your morning rush. More news in less time. A California company is promising to bring hundreds of jobs to Moses Lake. The lithium battery company Sila brought a 600,000 square foot building in Moses Lake. Now, the company says it will manufacture lithium-ion battery materials for the automotive and cell phone industries. Production lines are set to start in 2024 and reach full production in 2025. Today, Vice President Kamala Harris will host union organizers representing Starbucks and Amazon workers. The Biden administration wants to meet the workers behind the union drives at the two companies. President Biden frequently says he's a pro-union president, but the White House is avoiding any direct involvement with union drives.